Hello and welcome back to StarCraft Arcade. Well, today we're going to be showcasing the Zerg Hex game mode. This is a game mode we've seen a lot on our live streams, so if you guys want an interactive commentary, make sure to check by on Wednesdays or on Saturdays, which is our live stream days. So I'll go ahead and explain what's going on here. Zerg Hex is an asymmetrical RTS type game with a feel very similar to They Are Billions. If you're familiar to that, our zombie survival kind of RTS game, it is very similar. This is a 6v2, 6 Terran players versus 2 Zerg players, where the objective is for the Terrans to push out and destroy all the Zerg, where the Zerg's objective is to swarm in and destroy all of the Terrans. Now, this is asymmetrical, so there's going to be some differences in power and all those fun things. So I'll be starting out here on top and explaining what is happening here. Because there is an imbalance of power at the beginning, I have to do everything I can to take as much economy and to push out and do as much as I can get away with so that I can scale faster into the later game. You'll see here that I just start out, I get some extra SCVs, and I'm just really feeling the Zerg to see what he's going to do at the beginning. I go ahead and get some initial expansions to increase my economy, and so forth, so on. Now, the Zerg is one Zerg player is roughly equivalent in power to 3 Terrans, at least at the beginning. Maybe a little bit less, and that will change as time goes on. But it does mean that the Zerg at any point can just decide to overrun one Terran, and there's really not a whole lot that the single Terran can do about it. Now, the Terran base, at the beginning, we start off with a couple Marines, some SCVs that can help repair the walls, and we start out with a couple of gates that lead into the upper area of the base, and we can always retreat back there and sacrifice all of our expansions and be safe from the Zerg basically at any point in the game. But to do that, we have to sacrifice all of our expansions and economy and anything that will enable us to actually build up a military and push back and deal damage. So it's really an unacceptable option, but it is an option that you can take if, say, one of the Zergs decides to just push into you and prevent you from expanding at all. And when that happens, we call that being focused. That's something that will happen throughout the game. You gotta get used to it, and your job as a Terran who is getting focused is to make the Zerg fight for every inch, to make him take as long as possible, to allow your teammates who are now free from being attacked to expand and to punish the Zerg. And you'll see here that the Zerg is sending his Zerglings every which way. They're not just massing straight into me. You see Zerglings coming up at the left, Zerglings coming up the right, and so I have a nice spread of Marines here. I purchased 2 extra Marines as I've carried on. And this will enable me to defend myself in a not too greedy position. I haven't gathered all 3 of the gases that are immediately available to me. I'm just being careful about it because I've seen that he's already expanded. He's already added on some additional units. I've seen he's microing around, and he is a relatively new Zerg, but he's not so inexperienced as to let me freely expand without punishing me. So I'm just gonna play cautiously here. I'm gonna start walling off one of these sides so I can actually not have to defend it as much and focus my efforts on the other side so I could eventually take that 3rd gas that's just off to the right. And what you see there is I've called MIA, and I called that a little bit early, but MIA stands for Missing in Action. That basically means that I do not have the normal amount of spawns coming to me. The Zerg player has in some way decided that I am not deserving of his military units heading my direction, so he's sending them somewhere else, and I've noticed that he sent his military units somewhere else, his Zerglings and such, and I'm gonna let my teammates know that, hey, I'm missing units here, they're going somewhere else, so to keep an eye on any kind of shenanigans that the Zerg player can be doing, just so that they don't get blindsided by things. And you'll see, I do actually have some Reapers in the back working on that little guaranteed expansion that I have to open up, but it's not a high priority right now. Right now, I'm focusing on making sure I have my front line nice and safe. This next thing I'm going to be doing here is getting an armory. The armory is one of the tech structures. Now, all tech structures in this game provide an area of effect, a bonus, to nearby allied units or structures. Specifically, the armory gives additional damage and range to all military units. In this case, I only have Marines. My Reapers are off doing other things, so they're not going to be getting that bonus. And I'm putting this technology on the front lines because sure, it's vulnerable, and sure, if it dies, I basically just forfeit any ability to proceed quickly throughout the text tree. But I'm putting it at the front because it means that I can be safer on the front. It gives me a better, stronger means of defending my forward positions and all of my economy, which is very important. I need my economy, and I need to keep things alive, because if I intend to help at all throughout the rest of the game, I'm going to need these things, and I'm going to need them quickly. And to that end, the armory is going to help me defend myself just that much more. So now I have walls on the left, I have walls on the right, I have all 3 of my geysers, so I'm quite happy at where I am. My 3rd geyser was a little bit late. I could have pushed out a little bit quicker and gotten that, because the Zergs, when he pulled away those units, also pulled away the Zerglings off the right, so I could have noticed that earlier and done that, and that is my failing. But nevertheless, I was able to capture that without being contested at all, which is great for me. It's like free, easy monies that's going to come back to me. Now you notice that I haven't received the full ire of the Zerg just yet. Those spawners seem to have been permanently redirected off of me into one of my allies. I don't know if he deemed it necessary. I don't know if he deemed that I was not able to be broken with the amount of resources that he wanted to do. Ah, yes. So you see there that bottom team, one of their allies, is he's not pushing out at all. That means that the Zerg doesn't have to send him any units, because that bottom left corner is not threatening the Zerg in any way. So that basically just means that the bottom Zerg player is going to spend all of his energy flattening the other players on the bottom team, because the bottom left corner is not helping the team threaten the Zerg in any way, and the Zerg can be greedy by just ignoring the bottom left player. So you always want to be threatening the Zerg in some fashion, otherwise your other teammates are just going to suffer and be destroyed, and then they won't be alive to help you, and that's just how you lose as Terran. Like, don't let that happen. Now you'll see on the right side, I've gone ahead and placed a tech lab. I'm calling MIA again there, as the Zerg units are no longer spawning on me. But on the right side, I've put the tech lab that has an area of effects of just straight damage aura. Any enemy units that get near that tech lab within that radius will take damage. That will enable me to more efficiently defend that area. So let's say if the Zerg player decides to try to sneak around a few sneaky Zerglings or something, then they won't sit there and just nibble away at my base. Instead, they'll just take damage until they go away. And on the left side, I'm going to be adding the 3rd tech structure, which is the construction yard. Construction yard acts as a, what is the word for it? It's a buff that boosts the damage resistance and the automatic regeneration rate of the nearby walls specifically, which will help keep that area alive. And in fact, I can basically just have that there and not have to worry about that at all, because the amount of resources the Zerg will have to push into breaking through those upgraded walls, upgraded just because they're in the aura radius of that construction yard, it's far too high for the Zerg to want to deal with it at any time in the near future. And so I'm just teching up. I've got all 3 technologies. I'm going to be working on my economy. I just unlocked the next expansion. I see now that the Zerg is pushing a little bit harder into me. This just means that a lot of the spawns that were going to my allies are now being redirected back toward me. In an effort to stop this, I'm going to get a little cheeky here by having SCVs block my entrance on hold position. This will cause the enemy Zergling units, well, any unit actually, to get kind of bunched up and slow down. And the Zerg has to now spend some of his APM to micro and manually attack my workers in order for them to pass through. And this will enable me to not have to spend on emergency marines or anything else, and I can then take those resources and put them back into my economy, which I'm sure I will be doing here in a moment. Now it is about time. Yes, you see me upgrading the refinery there instead of purchasing marines. Yay! Greed! Isn't it great? Now you'll see it is starting to get to about time where I need to start pushing out into the Zerg up in the next 2 minutes or so. So at some point here, I'm going to be transitioning into actually being able to deal damage. And generally, you want to be able to deal damage by the 9-ish minute mark and threaten all these things. That he's attacking my SCVs now. He's realized what's happening. This is understandable. This is fine. And about that time is when we really need to be threatening the Zerg. Because if you fail to threaten the Zerg before roaches come out, then it's very, very rare that you're going to be able to threaten the Zerg at all throughout the game, and that's a really bad time. The reality is, oh geez, he's sending so many Zerglings here. So this is where I'm going to purchase a Shock Trooper. Shock Trooper has an AoE ability. An AoE ability that will enable me to just clean out. Yeah, there it is. So he does manage to clear out all of my workers, but not before the Shock Trooper comes out and clears out all of those units. Good. So the balance of the game is that the Terrans are stronger than the Zerg in the early game and the mid game, but the Zerg eventually scales and will beat down the Terrans in the late game, and that's just how it is. If the Terrans haven't effectively won the game by about the 30-minute mark, they're never going to win. That is how the game is designed. So you need to be able to push out, and if you aren't pushing out, or at least can't threaten the Zerg by 10-ish minutes, then you have an issue. Now in my case, I got focused there. So this means that my allies are going to have a better time. You can see on the mini-map that there's still units going to my allies, and now that the focus is no longer on me, I need to be pushing out. I'm getting the deflective laser upgrade, which enables my Marines to have a splash damage like attack. It's actually a chain attack, so it deals damage to multiple targets, and once I have that, I will be able to basically clear out an endless amount of Zerglings with just the Marine count that I have. So I should be able to push out here in a few moments, at least very shortly. And there's the upgrade. I'm making sure that what I'm doing here is I'm going to be opening up this side so I can sneak Marines out this side, just in case I need to do that in preparation for pushing out, but I'm most likely going to be pushing out my front door. And keep that defense. My defenses are up, and I noticed that I'm not getting as many units here pushed toward me. Get one more economy upgrade because I am greedy and I don't see my teammates are in a position where they're suffering. My ally calls MIA. I call MIA as well, and that means that he's pushing toward this player, and that is going to be my cue to go. Remember when I said that Zerg could just basically flatten any ally at any time they want, any Terran? Yeah, that's what's happening. I'm immediately on Marine production. I've got my batteries moving forward, and I've got another battery coming in, and that is my cue to push out and threaten the Zerg. If we do not threaten the Zerg, then my teammate is going to have a terrible, terrible time. Here come the batteries. I just need to let those charge up, and then I'll be pushing. Got more Marines, sufficient. I'm keeping the Reapers and the Shock Trooper behind for defensive reasons. And I'm pushing forward. Now, I do not have the Marine count to actually deal damage to the Zerg. However, this indicates to the Zerg that I am willing to threaten. And if he does not react to me, I can get free damage on his units. And that's not acceptable for him. You can see that I already have an army of units coming back to me, but I'm fully confident that I can defend with the amount of units I have here. So this is going to alleviate a massive amount of pressure. You can see those units that were attacking my ally on the left are now coming to me, and I have the defenses on the other side. I'm going to be fine. My ally no longer has pressure on him, and things are good. Now, I see them going again, and there's the MIA call out my teammate, and well, probably going to be heading back to the left side, but that means that I'm free to start pushing again. All I have to do is let my batteries recharge again, because you see there they're kind of low on power. Need to send them back. Go back. Go. Thank you. Good job. Then I'll start pushing again. You can see I'm already producing more Marines, prepared for another push. And this time when I push, I'm expecting to deal damage. Now I do realize there that I'm starting to run a little late. I haven't upgraded my Marines yet. I need the next tech level for that. I see that the Zerg is starting to pool his units on that side. I'm moving my Shock Trooper over to the left just in case Zerg decides to attack me, but I am prepared to defend this. I'm getting a second ranged repair drone. And there he goes. So now my ally is under a massive amount of attack. You can see there my ally has done the same construction yard trick that I've done. But that's not going to hold forever. He needs to do something about that. Not only does he need to do something about that, but I'm not being attacked right now, and I need to do something about that. And that something is push out. Now I have more Marines, a little bit more of a threat, and it's my cue to go. There we go. You can see the Zerg has upgraded those spawners, spent money on them, and I'm just going to make them go away. Just like that. Now, of course, I don't have a ton of Marines, and my Marines don't have a lot of upgrades at this point. That is a failing on my part. I am not particularly great at this game. I do have things I need to work on, but I do manage to take out one of the upgraded spawners, and I should get a second spawn here, it looks like. Or not quite. Nope, I gotta get out of here because that's all those units that were attacking that wall are now coming to me. And nope, stop attacking the wall, please. Thank you. There we go. Nice and safe. Teammate still alive. I'm still alive. Lost a couple Marines in that. Took out one spawner, which is really not that much. But it is something, and it does mean that this Zerg knows that he cannot leave for even a few seconds without getting attacked, which is very, very important on our team to be able to do that. That means the Zerg can't focus any of us down, and all three of us up on top will be able to maintain full economic power. Yay, Terran team! And that is one of the benefits and the downsides of playing Terran. It mandates that you be able to work together and coordinate your power. I do notice that I don't have a whole lot of units on me, not quite MIA, but they're mostly on my left side teammate. Left side is basically getting focused, so it is on me and my teammate on the right, Pink, to actually deal the damage here. I'm getting more energy, I'm getting more Marines, I'm getting everything ready to push out once more. Now at this point I'm getting a little bit worried, if I recall correctly, mostly because I don't have higher levels of tech just yet, and I need more gas for that, but that is fine. I'm going to eventually want to be transitioning from mass mineral production over to gas production, and for that I'm just getting more and more minerals because economy is strong. There we go. I've got the batteries dedicated charging over here, ready for my next push. And getting some more upgrades. There we go. And it is time to threaten once more. Now, I'm not threatening because my teammate is under attack. I'm threatening because I can. The Zerg has left me alone for so long, or at least has attacked focused my ally for so long, that I can just freely attack the Zerg. This is the position you want to be in. You want to have your teammate who is being focused to take as long as possible to make the Zerg fight for every inch, and to really delay the Zerg long enough that the other teammates, in this case me and Pink, to be able to attack the Zerg at our own discretion. You can see here we're killing off spawners, we're already multiple down. The Zerg is going to have to react to me, and it's going to cost the Zerg dearly. Now, important to note, I am building Marines behind this, so that when I get pushed back, when I run out of energy, which is what's happening right now, just simply because I'm running low on energy, then I will have additional Marines, and so the next push will be that much stronger. There we go. Beautiful. Nice. I've just about killed off all of the initial spawners, as well as a couple of the new spawners that were added in there. And keeping the upgrades going, energy production. I'm having energy issues just because I have so many Marines, but that's expected. So I'm keeping the upgrades going on the energy production, keeping my economy going so I can get even more upgrades on the energy production. Getting rid of that farm back there because honestly the farms are just kind of space inefficient as time goes on. They're super cheap and needed for early game, but as time goes on, transitioning out of the fruit farms is kind of mandatory. Switching over to the animal farms, which are more space efficient, even if more expensive. Now, the reality is here, looking back on this build order, I should have transitioned into more gas-based economy a bit sooner than I did. But it is functional so long as you're applying pressure and moving out with the team. There we go, a couple more batteries, more energy production. Nice. Things are going well. I have units heading to me. Units are basically spread evenly across all three. Well, I think Pink isn't getting hit as hard, but I'm not getting hit particularly hard, and the left side is getting hit decently hard as well. And that's going to cue me pushing out. Now, this is where I see that I desperately need to be upgrading my Marines into the next level of Marine, because there are roaches there. And roaches have a bit of armor, enough armor that the low damage first level of Marines aren't terribly effective, especially after the roach upgrades kick in and they get to live longer. But I am killing off, I have enough Marines here that I'm able to actually deal damage. So it's fully functional. And I'm able to sit out here and just punish the Zerg for leaving me alone for so long. You can see my batteries are out of power, so I'm going to send them back. Keeping an eye on the Marines just so that nothing terrible happens to them. At least without my knowledge. And I can see now that I have Zerg approaching, that the Zerg is reacting to me by sending all the spawns from my allies now over to me. And that is my cue to leave. There you can see the roaches. They just take so many hits to go down. Beautiful. But, uh-oh, I made a mistake. I don't have enough batteries, and my Marines are running out of power. Yes, my backup batteries are working, but it's costing me some Marines. That's fine. The Marines are far, far cheaper to replace than the amount of damage I dealt to the Zerg there with all those spawners gone. This is going to prompt me to get some power lines. It's a bit more infrastructure investment, and it's also going to prompt me to immediately start upgrading my Marines. I cannot afford to maintain these small Marines for this amount of time. And there's the upgrade. There's the upgrade. And I'll be able to, with this much with this much mineral income, I'll be able to upgrade all those Marines at once and push out even harder. All I have to do is have the energy production for it, which I have been working on for a significant portion of the game. Because, yay, economy is good, and in a minute here or so, I'll be able to push out with a disgusting amount of upgraded Marines and basically just purge anything the Zerg would want to throw at me. Because we've been chipping away at the Zerg for so long, the Zerg's been having a little bit of a rough time fielding enough big units that can actually handle what I'm pushing out there. The Zerg absolutely has to bring every unit at his disposal just to deal with me, or at this point I believe any of my teammates. And if we all push together, or even just two of us together, Zerg is just gonna fall apart. Which is exactly what we're looking for. Just a constant pressure and bully the Zerg out of the game. Yay, tactics. There we go, we see the Zerg is focusing me at the moment. Mostly all of those roaches coming in. That's fine, I have SCVs in the gate. Done and done. Getting some more upgrades for the Marines. This time, the upgrade I'm getting enables me to upgrade my Marines. I've got the next tech level. And once the Marines are upgraded, then I shall be pushing out once more. But now that I'm taking a lot of the heat, my other allies should be able to push out and do something. I believe you'll see here, the right is kind of slowly creeping forward, my pink ally, and on the left, my blue ally. He has really managed to fortify his greedy expansions, as he's expanded all the way down the left side of the map and managed to hold it off. Very good on him. Good job, teammates. You're doing very well. Of course, I'm not being fully focused here, so it's not that big of a deal. I just have a little bit more hate on my side than the others for the moment, and that's just the way I like it, because I can take it. My defenses are all good, and in a moment here I'll be upgrading my Marines, at least I'll be able to, which should do this. Oh, just like that, I have my ally on the left side is wanting to push because he knows what to do. I tell him that I'm ready, as I just upgraded all my Marines, and this time I'm going to push out with a massive force. There we go. Let's go. Move the SCVs. I've got the advanced batteries this time. And away we go. Out onto the field. Clear all the things. Nice. I've got energy to maintain this. I see that all of the spawns from pink and some of the spawns from blue are coming to me. He's reacting to me as opposed to my teammate, which enable my teammate to push extremely hard. But with this, I'm actually clearing out almost all of the Zergling spawners that this Zerg has. So there's not going to be much left to actually deal damage to me. I'm killing off his economy. You can see the spires are taking damage here. And with that, things are going to look very, very bleak for the Zerg player. That's one spire down. Activate the stim pack, both spires down, dealing some more damage here. I don't really want to be pushing into that greater spine at the moment. It's a little bit more than I could deal with. My batteries are out of power, so I'm going to pull back. But with that, we were able to push out and just basically clean up all kinds of things. isn't that pretty. Now behind all of this, I was building Marines, so even if the Zerg gets in here, I've got plenty of things to go. I lost a couple Marines in the retreat. It's fine. I actually ended up with a net gain of Marines. I built more Marines while losing the Marines than I actually lost during that whole process, so good on that. I'm using these mineral converters to convert my extreme amount of minerals into gas, which will enable me to get additional marine upgrades. Picking up the marine shield, combat shield upgrade, basically just gives them more HP, less marines to die. Awesome. Things are going very, very well for us. Just a little bit of positive reinforcement. Let them know we're doing good work up here. Pink is slowly pushing out. Blue managed to do a lot more damage with this push than I did. I believe that was mostly just due to the Zerg reacting to me more than reacting to blue there, which is fine. That is the entire purpose. It does not matter who does the damage, so long as everyone is doing their part. And everyone is definitely doing their part on the top team here, and it's showing off. It is definitely paying off. I am actually having a little bit of energy issues here. I need to get some upgrades to fix some of that. Getting just some straight energy upgrades here, leaving it on autocast so I don't have to think about it. Poor bottom. You see there that once one player decides to turtle, then it's just a bad experience for the entire bottom. The Zerg is, at least at the beginning, about 3 times as powerful as the Terrans, so if one Terran decides not to participate, then you have about 1.5 Terrans with the power crashing down upon your Terran defenses, and things are just not a good experience for you. You don't want that happening. Remember to always push out, always do your part in threatening the Zerg. Now, this next push out of me and my ally, whenever we get around to it, should be extremely powerful. As we are gearing up for it again, I notice this is just noticing that my energy is high. I've got plenty of power, so I can push out again with my Marines. I've got more Marines than last push. The Zerg has less units than last push, and I've got more power, so we're just gonna go. I did catch a glimpse of Primal Hosts there. They are basically upgraded roaches. They're quite strong. They do good work. I've got more Marines, so we can handle it. You can see the Primal Roaches are surviving pretty long. But I'm going to push around here to the right. Try to get as much damage done as I can. Clear out all these creep, all the spawners. And the Zerg, he knows that he's done for. All of us are pushing out. The left blue player is pushing into the Zerg. The right pink player is pushing into the Zerg. I'm pushing into the Zerg. It's over. And we're just going to end up pushing into it. I can actually see here that my teammate on the left has managed to get 2 elite Marines, which is the level above me. I could have afforded them. However, I was more interested in getting even more economy and even more Marines. I was going with a more quantity over quality approach here, and it works pretty well. Although, in hindsight, I really should have invested a little bit more into gas and gotten out these elite Marines, because I could have afforded it at this point. My allies pushing up, I'm clearing out a hive, and with that, we purge all of the spawners from the top Zerg, and we're just going to come around the back and clean out the bottom Zerg. Clear everything in the main base as it all goes away. Clear out the hive, and this game is over. If you guys want more content like this showing off these arcade games, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because we've got more videos coming out soon. And as always, make sure to check out our live streams, and I'll see you guys later.